I'm doing another video. I know I haven't done one in quite a while, so I think I'm going to probably at least shoot for doing two a week because I quite enjoy doing videos and I quite enjoy getting my aggressions out by doing videos and, who knows, but flexing my creative muscles, or at least, or if you say so, or say what you will as far as what that means. But anyway, so the other day I was using Yahoo, which I do often because my email's on Yahoo, so, or one of my email, or some of my emails are. And I decided to read this article because it was a pretty clicky, baity headline. So it says, job etiquette, is it harassment or simply unprofessional to ask someone out after a job interview? So Christine Solomon, style and beauty writer, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's only 2 days old, thankfully, this article. So, so this is funny because it fits into this narrative that a lot of modern feminism is about. I just want to note that, I don't entirely despise all of feminism as far as what they say or what they believe. It's just this kind of just like making everything about victimhood and just saying it's just black and white, no nuance that's the part I don't like, the lack of nuance. So I was reading this. A New York City woman is calling harassment on a move by a man whom she recently interviewed for a job. Katerina Batina, who is a design lead at Artsy, a resource for art collecting and education, according to her Twitter account, recently tweeted a message she received from a potential employee. On Thursday, she posted a screenshot of the email sent by someone whose identity she kept anonymous. Well, at least unlike by Felipe, she didn't at least she didn't publicize the person. By the way, I'm well back into online dating, so that video is kind of out of date, pun unintended. My Bye Felipe video. I don't usually, as a note, I don't usually say shit that probably prompts me to get, threatened with that usually. So I've always been a little bit more under the radar and indirect as far as, pursuing women is instead of, being direct and say, you want to fuck, So anyways, all right, so let's read more of this. So she's posted a screenshot of an email sent by someone whose identity she kept anonymous, and it said, "Hi, Katerina, I'm name redacted. You interviewed me the other day at your offices for an engineering job. I enjoyed meeting you. Are you free this Saturday night? I'd like to take you out for a drink. Text me, number redacted." The amorous job candidate. See, I think the writer of this article is questioning the woman that I just realized this woman that said this is harassment because she says amorous, and she could have said, "Shit, Lord, sex criminal," or something like that. But she didn't say that. She said amorous, which is sort of a positive connotation. Well, more neutral, at least. So this woman's doing the right job at journalism so far, at least in this article. And it's not really about the woman that wrote this article. It's more about the woman that fucking called this harassment. I think that's why the woman did the article. So either she didn't really want the job or was oblivious to the social awkwardness of asking out a potential employer during the hiring process. I'm reading the article again. Or at all. Bettina captioned he tweet. I don't know what that means. The tweet, probably. With, "Attention all male developers. Do not under any circumstances ask your interviewer out for a date. Hashtag harassment. Hashtag common sense. Hashtag she might be gay." And then she fucking tweeted that. Not the woman that wrote the article, by the way. I must note that. She's talking about the woman that tweeted this, the article writer. The post, this is the scary part, which has received more than 1,100 likes and almost 700 retweets at press time, has commenters baffled to, and has the sexes divided. Many male commenters, I don't know if that was how to spell it, while acknowledging that it might have been a stupid move, which failed to see it as harassment. One man wrote, "Maybe I'm living in the wrong country, but why is this considered harassment? If it was woman, man, would it still be?" Another commented, "Clueless, sure. Borderline stupid, sure. But I'm not sure I understand this harassment hashtag. Help me with that." A third wrote, "Being straightforward but polite is now harassment. Good to know." Bettina's female followers reacted in a different way. Someone making unwarranted romantic advances to someone who is only talking to them for business is harassment, one woman said. Another wrote. Looks like a lot of people in this thread never got appropriate harassment training at work or something. Well, the fucking guy is not hired, so he's just okay. So, anyways, I'll rant a little later. A third comment, even worse than the email, which is gross, is the men feigning confusion, insult in the comics. Fuck you. Yahoo Style asked professional job interview coach Bill Cole. So the woman that wrote this article, I'm just going to call her by her name, Christine. This woman, Christine Solomon, is actually like kind of seriously thinking, like, is this really harassment? I mean, you know, you could question why she's even questioning it, but at the same time, it's like there's so many messages in the media right now saying all these little things are harassment. So people might tend to want to look into that a little bit more. And so I'm glad that she posted both sides of the story. So let's go back to this Bill Cole guy. So, okay, so author of book, Interview Success Guide for his take on the exchange. Does it constitute harassment, or is it just for poor form? I can't fucking talk today. This is at minimum an interview etiquette breach, and at maximum a clumsy, possible desperate attempt at shopping where you work, Cole said. But he doesn't think it's harassment per se. I would doubt it would rise to the level of harassment, but the interviewee may be certainly guilty of a stupidity misdemeanor. I think that's pretty funny. We'd have to say that stupidity is the core of a particular issue. What do you think? Does this person's email equal harassment? Is it just tone deaf or perfectly fine? So the comments, of course, are a disaster, as usual. You know, there's people on both sides saying there's people saying really sexist stuff about women, and then there's people that are fucking, I mean, mainly it's just people that are fucking outraged that she said it was harassment, including, I might add, even some women that say they're feminists. I mean, God forbid a fucking, you know, woman might have a different opinion than another feminist, or, you know, like, I am a woman. I certainly don't classify this as harassment, but classify it as it's totally stupid and inappropriate. Harassment is a very strong word. I don't think it applies to the situation. So what do I think? Okay, so this guy, I don't see it as harassment, because first of all, you have to think about the power dynamic, as I mentioned in another video. I hate the fucking power dynamic shit because it's very simplistic. So, is it harassment? Because the power dynamic actually would say the inverse, because the woman is the one who's hiring the guy for the job. So it's like this kind of groveling attempt. You know, someone might like view it as this groveling attempt to get a date or something. Oh, I really liked you. So I would say just by that fact alone, let's question the harassment thing. Everybody wants to. This is the kind of shit that people that are, you know, question feminism talk about. It's not about, you know, I mean, street harassment, like saying, "Oh, baby, great tits." I mean, that's fucking harassment, right? Yeah, fine. We can agree on that. But this kind of shit is where people, you know, this is where people say, come on, give me a fucking break. Okay, so the guy asked her out. And you can't, you know, it's like, all these conservatives always come up with this shit. You can't ask a girl out anymore. It's like, well, I don't know. Maybe you have a point there in some ways. So, you know, like, I mean, if nobody ever got together, hooked up at work, then there would be a lot less people on the planet. First of all. And yeah, it's inappropriate to ask your interviewer out. I mean, I don't know if he expected the job or what. I mean, maybe he was trying to like not get the job by asking her out or some shit. I mean, maybe he generally just thought he didn't get the job and wanted to, you know, meet this woman. I don't know. It was stupid, but is it harassment? Is it this terrible sexist patriarchal fucking thing to ask a girl out that interviews you? No, I don't think so. So overall, I think this hysteria has been in our society now. I mean, there's this hysteria over all this stuff. Like, there's legitimate rape cult. I mean, I don't want to use the word rape culture, but there's legitimate concerns about rape and harassment and, you know, sexism for real. And then there's shit like this that when people talk about this stuff and they bring this stuff up, it's like it kind of, and conflate it with other shit that's far worse, people start to not take the other shit seriously. And this has been a point hammered hammer home time and time again about this shit. And that's really fucking, it's just really ridiculous. So, you have this comment. I really like this comment right here. So, absolutely inappropriate, absolutely not harassment. In our culture, we place the majority. I actually read this one a couple times, this comment here. So, I don't know if I should publicize these comments, but it is on a public article, so whatever. Absolutely inappropriate on a public forum, too. Absolutely inappropriate, absolutely not, however, harassment. In our culture, we place a majority of burden on men to initiate dating. And that is, feminists and MRAs, whatever you want to call yourself, people have to agree on that. That is the way it has been. So with that burden comes the chance they may ask people out are uninterested in them. It doesn't make it an harassment. If it was repeated or overly lewd, I may have a different opinion. And she's completely correct. And let's see if anybody... Oh, come on. It was inappropriate, motherfucker. Come on. I would agree with that. He was getting hired for a job, okay? So... These comments, some of them are pretty stupid, It's not inappropriate. It's like fucking stupid. Okay, there's another person that's a feminist. I'm a woman and a feminist, like I said before. I saw these comments, and I'm just like, this is basically like fucking bullshit that even someone would go this far. I mean, the woman that tweeted this shit originally about the harassment, quasi-harassment. I'm a woman and a feminist. I don't see a problem with this. The email was polite, respectful, and it did not make lewd suggestions or try to be pushy. He even sent an email instead of putting her on the spot in person or on the phone. That's a good point. In a society where sexual harassment is a very real problem, I think the guy should be commended. Whoa, I didn't read the whole one before. For being so respectful. Her reaction is appalling and out of line. I understand not being interested, but the merit's a simple no thank you. Not a hysterical, I said hysteria before, attempt to publicly humiliate the guy. The worst that could be, and hysteria and hysterical are kind of rooted in some sexist stuff, I know. So I'm just using it because it's the slang word about fucking, I don't know. I think it does have to do with some kind of feminine thing, the root of the word. I'm going to have to look that up later. I understand not being interested, blah, 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 blah. The worst that could be said, it's a touch awkward to ask one's interviewer, but this guy did it in possibly the best, most respectful way. Sounds like she likes him or something. Unless she don't even fucking know him, but her behavior delegitimizes and trivializes a real serious problem, and she should be called out for that. Amen. That was great. Okay. So, it might not look for... Oh, here we go. It might not look like for harassment, but it is for this reason. You have the woman in the position of power, per se, and the man in subordinate... shifted the balance of power. Come on. I'm fucking overanalyzing this shit. It's like... It's just fucking stupid. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous that he asked her out. I agree. Harassment. So, you just gotta... we gotta fucking... People are... I think people are... getting a little weird in the comments towards some of the people that disagree with them, of course, like this internet culture that we have. Yes, the position's reversed. It was a woman asking me still be harassment. At least she says that. It's a patriarchy. There's no such thing as sexual harassment to men. Yeah. So anyways, to sum it all up, I think this fucking article is, it's a clickbait article or whatever you want to call it. It's bringing attention to some bullshit that someone said on Twitter, and it got viral or whatever. And it just this is the type of shit we need to stop. We need to have a real conversation, about. I think the woman that mentioned about the onus is on men to ask women out. Feminists need to talk about that shit. So let's talk about how women need to take the initiative more. Of course, if you're from the nature school rather than the nurture school of sociobiology and all that, social psychology or whatever, you're going to think that it'll never work because, okay, so we have to have this like shift in balance of power as far as asking more men out. But it could be at least attempted. We could at least go more towards that. Even if you don't believe that would work, we could at least go more towards that. And I think the onus is on women and feminists to stop fucking just being this crazy entitled bringing up this crazy entitled bullshit. I mean, it's entitled. Maybe it's not entitled, but it's like, oh my god, this guy asked me out. Oh my god, I'm gonna publicize it. I got the social media. It's like fucking the first world problems meme times 10. It's just fucking stupid. So overall, I think the feminists should talk about that. Talk about, hey, let's have a day. How about a day? These feminists and any kind of political movement, these pop cultural fucking pop political cultural movements that this day is the whatever awareness month or whatever day or whatever the fuck and it, like the guy, the testicular cancer awareness, or whatever, breast cancer awareness, or today is whatever day to wear this ribbon or whatever. So let's have one day a year, and I'm going to propose this to like feminists and stuff. Ask a man out. Don't let ask a man out that you're interested in, instead of having them ask you, putting the onus all on them. And let's encourage that kind of stuff. Let's not encourage this fucking just this game that goes back and forth. And I don't mean the game, the sexual dynamic game between men and women. I mean this fucking war of words and hatred and division. We need to stop this shit. It's fucking bringing stuff down. I mean, look at what has happened. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why Trump got elected, because people were fucking sick of political correctness. Of course, he's going to take it to a level of bullshit that is just not even attempting to perceive it is insane. I mean, the fucking guy, I'm going to do another video about Trump, pretty soon too. So, because there's a lot to say since the election, which I haven't talked about. But this whole thing is just stupid. So I think we need to stop the bullshit and change things. If people want to change, people want change, right? They want women to be more equal or whatever. So they have to take up the slack. The feminists that say they want women in combat, I applaud that. If you want equality, it should be equality. Be in combat. Have to. I mean, if women want to be in combat, they should be able to be in combat. And it doesn't mean, I mean, with all the technology, any kind of physical limitations are kind of, probably arbitrary at this point. I'm not a total expert at that, so I'm not going to say that I don't really know, but it seems like it's more arbitrary. So if they want to if they want things to be equal and even, we need to start doing more stuff like that. And the woman that tweeted this originally, not, that this woman's article is about, is not one of those people that wants things to be equal. I could tell you that right now. Because most likely not. Because she had to fucking, use this outrage culture and this fucking social media to call this guy out. So she was so offended by him asking her out. And he was a fucking idiot. I mean, he obviously didn't want the job. It was kind of a, self-defeating thing to do this. But harassment, come on.